Welcome to my channel, Professor Paul's Nuggets. I welcome especially the returning subscribers. If you are joining us for the first time today, please subscribe so that you can get a notification of whenever another video is released. Today, I'm going to continue talking about how we can do better in examinations. It's going to be a little bit long today, and I'm going to share some PowerPoints because there is a lot to cover. I would probably still talk on the World Cup and do a socio-political analysis of the event, but today I'm not going to say more than to congratulate the winners, Spain, but expect my analysis in the next few days. So today I'm going to talk about how one can secure good grades, top grades in exams. We have dealt with how to manage exam or test distress, which I think everyone should apply before you even go into the exam. But let's get going with today's presentation and see how we can actually deal with the actual exams. So, how do we, first of all, why is it important to get good grades in exams? Getting good grades is often a good indicator of a deep understanding of the subject or whatever has been taught. So universities and other tertiary institutions, including institutions below tertiary, tend to do these tests and final exams to see how the students are going or test their understanding. But I must admit that some institutions are actually doing away with the traditional exams as we knew them. It is also good to have good grades because a lot of students, if you just look around yourselves, thousands, sometimes hundreds, depending on where you are, thousands may be doing a course with you these days. And therefore, there is a strong competition for jobs, or if you aspire to go further or go higher from bachelor to master's or doctorate, then you might be looking for scholarships. You also have the feel-good factor to think about. You feel good about yourself whenever you do well, I believe. That is what everybody, how everybody feels. Everyone, I keep stressing, everyone can do well in exams or in his or her studies. We all have the potential to do well. It is just a matter of being properly guided. And so just like they say in athletics or sports, you can always go beyond your current personal best. So from one exam to the other, strive to go to do your best and beat your last personal best or existing personal best, so to speak, because that is a measure of improvement. But it also means that you are not just competing against other people, but against yourself, and it is necessary to improve yourself. But do not overstress. You remember the nugget on working smarter? So always strive to work smarter, not necessarily too hard, because just working too hard is not going to take you far. So it is better to work smart. And poor grades do not mean that you are not good. Sometimes things happen in exams. We just get switched off sometimes, and then you just don't do well in that particular exam, or you are simply not feeling too well, but you do not want to postpone the exam. So As I said, some institutions are no longer using grades. They still do exams, but they score them in a different way, like satisfactory, unsatisfactory, etc., rather than put a mark or a grade to it. I think it actually puts the candidates, the students, in a better frame of mind, not to be trying to do too hard and stressing themselves. And I always tell my students and family members, it is better to have some knowledge and fail an exam or have poor grades than to cheat in an exam and have good grades with no knowledge. You would blame yourself down the line if you have a very excellent certificate, but you can't really defend it. So I urge everyone to rather try to gain knowledge rather than to gain grades. And remember too that exams are only a part of the assessment. In most institutions, you would have several items outlined for assessment, and therefore the exam may just be the final thing that you need to use to top up, and that could vary from anything from 20 to 70% or 50%. So endeavor to do well in your essays, your practicals, if you are doing the sciences, short tests, and the rest. And then just top it up with whatever you're able to get from exams. But it is important to do well in the exams because a lot of institutions weight the exams more strongly or more highly than the other forms of assessment. The structure of the final exam would depend on the program or course rules and the institutions where you are enrolled. They may consist of multiple choice questions, short answers, and essays or essay type. You should be aware of these rules before you start your course or while you are on your course or program, so that you are better prepared to deal with these assessment items, including the final exam. Usually, there may also be a choice of questions, like 7 questions to answer 5, or 10 questions to answer 8, or sections that you should have to answer 1 from section A, 2 from section B, etc. All these are also rules that you need to be aware of and follow. These are instructions that you need to adhere to during exams so that you do not fall by the wayside. What are the other pre-examination tips that I have to give here? I've already shared some of them in my previous nuggets. It is important not to study alone, but always with friends. Study with people so that you can ask questions and also share your knowledge. Check the general learning materials that are provided by the university or the institution. Most institutions have a learning center where they provide these guides or guidance to students beyond the disciplinary deliveries in the faculties or colleges. So be aware of these materials and use them. How to study, how to write exams, how to avoid copying wrongly, and how to not cheat in the exams. These are all materials that one should familiarize him or herself with. Then prepare for the examination. I've stated on and on that it is important to start preparing for the exam right from day one. Do not wait for the timetable to be up before you start preparing. Most importantly, seek the help of your lecturers or whoever. Be your colleagues. Seek help if you are lost. Do not wait to be lost more deeply in the water. Then during exams, the first tips I would like to share are to quickly read all questions. Ensure that you quickly go through all the questions, especially if you are going to choose. Then decide which question to start with. It could be the easiest question, and I actually suggest that you start with the easiest question because that then gives you a lot of grounds to cover and earn more marks. You could also start with the question that carries the most marks, but I think doing the first and the easiest would be the best thing to do. Also be aware of the total time that has been allocated for the examination and share that time between the questions so that you do not spend too much time on any question. Do not also pause for too long on difficult questions. You can return to them if necessary, or I'll give you further tips on how to deal with this, the don'ts that I have at the end. The second set of tips is to read each question at least twice or more than twice before you start writing. And while doing this, please identify the action words. Action words are what the question requires you to do. If you do not identify them, then you are going to write out of point, what we call OP in those days. Then while checking these questions, while it is fresh and you are still not stressed, jot down points before you start to answer. If you do that, you will then have these points to look at to guide yourself with the rest of the exam. You can do some rough work, but always delete this rough work at the end. Some of the action words that are typically used in exam questions are listed here. This is not an exhaustive list, so you should be aware of this. And maybe look at what else you need to look out for as an action word. You could be asked to name things. You could be asked to list. You could be asked to describe. You could be asked to explain. You could be asked to discuss, compare, or contrast. All these words mean different things, and the depth of answers differs between one action word and the other. So ensure that you understand what the question requires you to do, and then simply focus on doing that. Not doing that is going to drastically reduce your marks, and that wouldn't then give you very good grades. So, as Franz Ferdinand has said, the right thoughts associated with the right words and right actions would achieve the best outcome. Then look at the next set of tips with sample questions and how to identify these action words. Let's take this question here, which is typical of agricultural exams. If you were told to list or name 3 cultivars of a crop XXX used by farmers in Nigeria, all you will need to do here is to name the varieties, not describe them. Don't describe the varieties. You haven't been asked to do that. Doing that is not necessarily going to fetch you any more marks than was allocated. All it will do is to waste a lot of your time. And then look at the second part of the question, which says you should describe one of these cultivars, one of the crops that you have indicated in subsection 1. In this case now, you would have to to do further than just naming, and therefore you have to provide details on what the cultivar looks like. That is what we call agronomic characteristics, how common it is, and that is how important it is in the agricultural sector, its yield, and problems associated with it. The more information you could provide here, the more marks you could gain. Then let's look at another question that says you should explain why the brown Swiss cattle may be the most suitable for Kenya. Here, you will need to describe the breed, this animal breed. Just going straight to explaining why it is the most suitable. We'll give you some marks, but at least let the examiner know that you know what breed you are even talking about. How predominant is it in the cattle population of Kenya, for example, before you begin to compare it with the other breeds that are used in terms of temperament, feed consumption, growth rate, feed efficiency, meat quality, etc. So it is important to do more. You need to do a lot of work here because explanations are required. And the action word here is explain. Note that discussion and explanation can be framed in other ways. That is, other words can be used to replace them. So, for example, looking at the first question, we could frame it as what is the best variety of Ndalo, that is cocoyam in West Africa or taro elsewhere around the world. Again, this question requires more than naming the crop. The crop has actually been named, but the best variety, you first need to name it, and then it may require that you need to give more information on its limitations. Though it has just been said what is the best variety, naming it alone is not going to fetch you adequate marks. Or the other example is, why are brown Swiss cattle preferred by producers? Just saying one thing alone is not going to be enough. In animal science, we for example, talk about the coat color, where you would then look at the characteristics of the color of the animal, because their colors determine how productive they are due to various factors, physiological and anatomical factors. But here, you are not just going to say because it is brown and stop there. There are several things you need to cover. You could also then include some information on its limitations to show that you know what you are doing, and therefore that can fetch you more marks. Because if you just talk about its positive attributes and do not touch on any of the drawbacks or limitations, the lecturer may give you the marks, but just showing that this animal is not all A+, that it has some limitations, would mean that you know more than what you have been asked to do. But do not dwell too much on those extras. Comparing or contrasting is another word that other words that are typically used, and here you will do a lot. You need a lot of attributes of what you are comparing, attributes to apply to the items that you are comparing. If we look at the example here, if we are asked to compare Lagos with Cairo, you could look at the location. Where is Lagos located? Country-wise, coast-wise. Where is Cairo? What is the political significance of these two cities in Africa? What is their demography like in terms of race, in terms of maybe age, in terms of the workforce? The more information you can give there, the better, the more marks you get. The economic power of Lagos compared to the economic power of Cairo will be worth talking about here. Also, you could bring in many factors, the historic issues, how did Lagos start as a city, and how did Cairo start as a city? You start with those things, be logical in your organization of the answers. You can also answer this question in paragraph forms, as I have outlined here. So you could take on one of the cities first, Lagos, for example, talk about its political significance, demography, economic power, etc. And then do exactly the same for Cairo. And then you could maybe round up with a conclusion to say why these two cities are different or why they are not too different. So it is important to understand the question. That is the basis for getting good grades in an exam. Very important. Some questions could look very simple, but you need to read them, think about the question, and then examine. Try to think how many parts has this question and deal with all those parts. If you lose out any part or miss out any part, I'm sorry, you are not going to gain a lot of marks for losing those points. So here I've just provided a simple example from aquaculture. Sorry, I'm not a fisheries specialist, but I do hope that they call them breeds too. Maybe strain, even in animal science, sometimes we use breeds and strains. So name 3 breeds of tilapia that are used by the aquaculture industry. Then identify the most suitable breed and provide reasons why this breed is suitable in terms of performance and consumer demand. All that is a question. And generally, the higher you go in your studies, the more complicated questions become. I still remember my days at the University of Aberdeen doing my master's. The questions used to take almost half a page. They actually give you a background to what they want you to do, and then they hit you with the question or questions. So ensure that you understand the parts, all the parts, or all the backgrounds that the question is providing before you start. Do not just look at the first line and begin to start writing and then possibly end there. As you can see, I have outlined what is required. First, on the question itself, name, then identify, then provide reasons. So I can immediately identify at least 3 parts to this question. So I'm not going to miss any one when I answer the question. But you can even argue that there are 4th and 5th parts to this question. Look at the question again, and you will see that you are asked to name the strain or breeds. Then you are going to identify the best one, and then you are going to defend your choice. Why is this the best strain or breed? And this then can be positioned, this defense can be positioned from the points of view of productivity of this strain or breed, and from the consumer point of view. Why do consumers like this? So you can now immediately see that I have come up with 5 different parts to these questions that need to be addressed. And if you do address them in that way, then you will get top marks, more than they have possibly been allocated or set aside. Because lecturers value the students' attempt or to get to this depth when they are answering questions. Okay, I'm almost at an end. And so What should you not do? I have basically focused on the do's, what you should do in exams. But what should you not do in exams? What should you avoid? The first thing, and I've talked about this before, is to avoid difficult questions. If you have the opportunity or choice, please, you don't do anybody or yourself any favors by choosing the most difficult question. I'm not saying students should not learn everything, but please learn those difficult questions at your own time and pace. Do not take them on in an exam, because you could soon suddenly become stuck and then completely upset yourself in the examination, and then your performance is going to be very poor. Another don't is do not leave any question unanswered. I have encountered that a lot in my time as a lecturer, or still when I still examined courses. Students would just write question 2, and the whole page is blank. Never do that. If you do that, it's a straightforward 0. There's nothing the lecturer can think about there. So attempt to say something. Even if you think you have no idea, believe me, do something, say something. Lecturers like that the student, they see that you are not really making much sense, but you have not completely given up on this question. Do something, and you'll find that you get a mark or 2 for just doing that. All these add up to your final score. If leaving it blank is dangerous, if you do that, don't do that. Don't think you'll be making a good. Like I still remember one of my lecturers in those days at undergraduate level. I thought I was clever, but there was a day he told me in class, to the hearing of everybody, that he knows when I don't understand a question. But what he likes is that I still try to answer it. And when I try to do that, I write very long sentences without commas, without semicolons. I just keep going. I thought I was clever. I didn't know he was watching or seeing what I was doing. But at least I would end up getting half a mark or a mark there, a point there to add to my totals. Yeah, always read beyond what you have been taught in class and provide them in the exam. If you do that, lecturers appreciate students who go to that length to study on their own and add more than they have been given. Like I stated from the beginning, we do not see students as empty vessels. We see them as half full, and we are only just trying to add more to how full they are. So if you can provide some of the things that you think you have done, which the lecturer did not tell you about, you get more marks. Then I see students who try to show off by leaving an exam hall way before the exam is over. Some students are given 3 hours, and then in 1 hour, they drop their paper and they leave. And then the other students are shocked, and some are actually shaking because they say, oh, this guy is top notch. And he has so quickly finished this tough exam. Please don't. You shouldn't impress anybody. Just sit there and read your response, read your answers, check your answers. You could find that you have actually gone OP, out of point in some of the questions, and you still have enough time to rewrite them, cancel them out, and answer the question properly, instead of trying to show off that, oh, you are clever, you could finish this exam in no time at all. You are not going to like it when you leave and then find that you have actually not answered one of 2 questions adequately. But importantly, again, to avoid horror and pain, do not revise the questions after you have left the exam hall. Put this aside and wait for the results. Hopefully, we are going to do well. But trying to see what you could have done after the fact, you are just going to upset yourself and possibly do badly in the follow-up exam. Just be happy with your achievements. There are not many people who go to university or polytechnic or even a college of education or technology. Having made it to this level, you should be proud of yourself and be happy with whatever you do. Finally, I wish everyone good luck in your studies. You can join me on my LinkedIn page. It's provided here. I know I have delved into some political issues, general issues, but there are still things to guide learners. And I'm going to still touch on them now that we are doing a video form of some of these presentations on LinkedIn. So I think this is where I will end it, and wish everyone the best again in your studies. Do not give up, never, never give up. You will all succeed. And it's my wish that you are all greater than us, greater than your parents, greater than the current generation. Good luck. Subscribe and bye for now.